definitely a new and different world that we live in.
Yeah.
The rules that were written for people hundreds of years ago certainly shouldn't apply to its denizens in generations later. You know what I mean? Like, because times...
Right. Well, and I think... I mean, I feel like there are certain things, certain core things that should hold true. Like, just the basic idea of freedom, you know what I mean? I think, like, I guess what I'm saying is certain things are timeless in the Constitution, but at the same time, we have to realize that they were just in a completely different situation with a completely different mindset. And they were in the middle of fighting the most powerful country in the world, trying to break away from their control.
From their crazy fucking spreading empire.
Right.
Well, now, when you say freedom, do you mean in a law sense, or do you sort of mean like a sovereignty of the individual? Like, because they're alive and a human being and an adult, like another human being can't control them. Shouldn't be able to tell them what to do, when to do it, how to do it.
Within reason, of course. Yeah,
within reason, certainly.
You can't go around killing people, whatever.
Right, and also, stuff. If you go and get a job, you're going to have a boss, and that boss is going to tell you.
True.
So but in general, like, of your life, your quality of life, your decisions that you make in life, as a sovereign entity, as a human being, you shouldn't be impeded in a, bad or negative way by anybody. Like, it seems like, I don't know if I'm obviously just paraphrasing some bullshit I read somewhere. But, yeah, I just think...
I know, I definitely know what you're saying. I mean, I just think that we always have to be aware of the present, of our time period and how things are different now. But I think it's a lot easier now than it was to just not be a shithead. I feel like.
Well, I think so. Empathy seems to be, I think, and here's, all right, so, being empathic is being able to feel or to be in someone else's shoes effectively.
Right.
And to actually have that color your choices in life so that you're not a piece of shit. Being empathic is not a bad thing. Sometimes it's a difficult thing to be if you are too much of an empath, because if you start to only be able to feel other people's emotions, you can get lost in yourself and you can totally become overwhelmed over time. So, it's important to stay grounded and to stay sort of self-centered, but that a little bit of self-centeredness is totally absolutely necessary. You have to, like, care for yourself and love yourself a little bit, you know what I mean? And that's sort of the ego, right. Puffing itself up or whatever, but you need that to get out of bed, because you got to care about you and your life and how it turns out. If you don't, well, you're probably not going to be sticking around or whatever, you know what I mean?
Right, no, sure. I find that fascinating that there are different levels of empathy in individuals. Mm-hmm. And I wonder... Yeah.
Some people have zero. And in fact, I think the only reason that it feels to me, at least, and I'm sure maybe many other people, that it seems right now is a time where you're just like surrounded by people who clearly simply lack empathy, any empathy at all. And you're just like, you are just crushing other human beings for either no reason in particular, just your own gains, I guess, is they just getting their line in their pockets.
Right.
But where does that get you? Like, I don't know. I could go on forever about.
No. I know what you're saying. That there's definitely the wolves and the sheep, so to speak. Not to classify kind people as
sheep.
Not saying sheep in the follower sense.
Right.
Just in the
sense masses.
Yeah, or they're
sheep outnumber the wolves always. There's always less predators than prey.
But I think that it's just a simple case of the randomness of evolution. That you have all different personality types, and there are some humans who are more aggressive, and there's obviously an evolutionary benefit in a way to being empathetic, if you think about it on like a tribal level.
But there's also an evolutionary benefit to just being
able to disconnect,
and that's a way better way to say it, to just disconnect yourself.
Right. It's what it really is indifference.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Indifference, but I think you can still be indifferent. You can still be indifferent, but like you can still be empathic. You could just, I guess, but
I'm also curious to know how many people actually do feel bad, but then
just ultimately. Well, see, that's the thing, man. And those
does it bother them privately?
Yeah, and then here's where it gets a little deeper, or sometimes I go deeper with it. Is, okay, so that's true, but is it fair to call those people the ones who know that they should feel bad, the ones they do feel bad, but they still do the bad thing and still in a way get off on doing bad things, or benefit from it and just don't care from it? Like, maybe, is it fair to call them the evil, the bad guy, or are they just psychologically
of course, then
defunct and they more just probably need to be put in fucking care? Like, I think
it's a different system for approaching survival.
Yeah.
There are slight, I guess, there are slight, tweaks in people. Yeah. And, I mean, you can think something like evil is a very interesting word, because obviously it's a powerful word, but it's also, like, what is that?
It's so all-encompassing. It's the worst of the... True evil is just unabashed negativity, as far as I have understood, and I can put it into words now, like, in a meaningful way. Like, it's just like, again, the devil, Satan himself, is characterized in an anthropomorphic sort of character, where he's just the Prince of Lies. He'll tell you anything you need to hear to get what he wants out of you, and that could be a range of,
Right.
So it's like, and in the end, you sell your soul to the devil, but really it just means, well, some people, I suppose, think in a literal sense, but, whatever that's going but in general, it just means, you've lived your life in a very negative way.
Right.
You've
to a degree,
you've spread terrible rumors about people. Not even that you're, like, killing, raping, and murdering, but you've been just vicious to people.
Right, yeah. Just, there are definitely certain behaviors that are, at least in our heads, so obviously wrong or unpleasant, but at the same time, to a degree, negativity is subjective. There are certain things that I consider just absolutely wrong, without a doubt. Well, but then again, I think in reality, in a way, evil is a created what's the term? A construct of society in a way. We the people in power deem what's wrong and what isn't. But we don't actually need that. That's the reality. If, like you said, if we were just more empathetic and went by the basic golden rule, that's all you need. You don't need, in my opinion, you don't need any other systems. Mm-hmm. But there are other systems out there. Yeah. Yep. And they put in different beliefs. Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I mean, it's not the way it used to be, though. I mean, back in the day, if you go back far enough, and for a long stretch of time, we were all just in small, villages.
Right.
Very small communities.
So different things mattered.
It was a completely... Yeah, right. I mean, it was way more subsistence living, where you were just, like, hunting for your night's dinner and tomorrow's breakfast, and you were, checking the fields during the mid part of your day. You were napping maybe once or twice in your day. Like, I mean, that was your day, and then you'd go to bed when the sun went down, unless you were having a festival.
I suppose in reality it would have been nonstop work.
I mean, but it would be there every day. For them, it wouldn't even be work. It would just be the things they had to do. I think. I get that. I mean, I don't know. But eventually, we did get, more comfortable and able to be more. So then it became chores, like, cutting wood. Instead of just that thing you had to do to make the fire, now it's, I gotta go.
It's an extra. Well, because now society has been overpopulated with things. Computers and laptops and cell phones.
Constant barrage of bullshit. Dude. Right. It's insane.
So I think society has been overcomplicated. Earlier we were talking about taxes.
We do it to ourselves.
Oh, for sure. The whole idea of all the different taxes and stuff. Yeah. Like, how did it get that complicated? How did it get that?
It's only that complicated to fool us, because we don't know how to read and understand legalese, and that's how all of this is written, so that it is so convoluted, and like they use, we're going to use this word to define what this means, and you have to just remember that in your head, and we're going to reference it. But in fact, in the document, we're not even going to call it what they said it was. Right, they call it something else, but they tell you in that paragraph that actually stands for the first thing. You're like, I cannot follow this. Only like super intelligent lawyers and shit like that who go through the training can decode this, and if you don't know how to do it, you are baffled by it. Right. When you try to get into the deep code and the deep, the way acts are written in legalese. And so they do that on purpose, because because the Congress people, the politicians, have the lawyers who know how to read this shit, and those lawyers tell them, okay, well, this is what this law basically intends, so if you write it this way, you can basically get away with this, but we're not going to call it that. And they're like, oh yeah, no, that totally. So let's just,
like I said, it's been so overcomplicated. Yeah, really. The amount of laws exist and the amount of terms within those laws, it's insane. Yeah, and it's like, how did it get to that?
we let it happen. I mean,
I know, but it's interesting to me. I think a big part of it is with making like just money, like just one currency.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds weird, but I mean, you got to think back in the day, like trade was trade, and it was like up to each individual party.
I mean, there was coinage involved.
No, I know, but I'm just saying,
that coinage was gold.
Right.
It was a silver piece. It was a bronze piece. It literally was that metal, and it had that intrinsic value based on, which is honestly an arbitrary system of fucking value. And
that's what I'm saying.
To a rock.
And obviously, it makes things easier, but at the same time, I think it almost, you become a slave to it. Because it is the one thing that...
Well, here's the thing, right? So it's interesting that it's happening to us right now, but I think the real interesting thing... And I said we let it happen. You said, how did it get this far? I said, well, we let it happen. We, as in the masses, the people not in charge, the majority, have consistently, time and again, let a ruling class with all the money and all the power and all the influence in the world dictate how we distribute our money and time.
How we live.
Period.
Yeah.
And that is, to me, empirically, the opposite of what should be happening.
Right.
As we are all... Again, going back to the beginning, sovereign human beings who should not be impeded by other human beings with ill intent. Right. That ill intent maybe not even being conscious, but it's still to their benefit, and they are gaining from it. And it happens from the Roman Empire to even the Egyptians had a ruling class. Like, there's never been a time.
Even within a small tribe of cavemen, there would definitely be.
Yeah, okay, they
dominant.
would be localized leaders.
Right.
That's fine, but the idea, and I'm not trying to say get rid of the federal government, not yet. I just haven't done enough, I don't know, thought or research into it to be able to confidently say anything like that. So I'm not stating that. But the idea of this upper crust ruling class that are just going to dictate to us laws and of moral code and what you can say on TV and can't. Fuck you. Like, it's words. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't want your kid to be exposed to that, if that's the way you want to shield your kid from fucking reality, then you just put them in the other room with their wiggles and whatever. And they're fucking... Dude, the Shopkins is all about, like, shopping. This toy thing that kids are going crazy about, it's all about consumerism. They're literally shaping our children now to be all about that consumerism.
Right. Well, and everybody has a tablet now. All the kids.
Granted, I got a tablet, but
it's also unavoidable in a way, though. I think like we all swell as this one unit with this technology, and and you definitely we've all had moments, or at least I think, when you're like, oh, like, is this good? Like, do I really need another piece of technology? But then you do it because everybody else around you is doing it. Like, I think it's just very, very hard to avoid. Mm-hmm. And I think equally, going back to what you said about having a ruling class and stuff, I agree. The problem is, most of the time, people give in to selfishness. And the people in charge end up being shitty and abusing their power. If they didn't, if you had somebody who was truly like a grandparent, like a wise, just leader, then it can work. That's how the animal kingdom works. There's always a hierarchy, but but the problem is with us, with our situation, the human condition, 9 times out of 10, that person in power
corrupts,
right,
in some way, or becomes self-centered and only cares about their benefit.
And that's what the problem is. It's not the position; it's the way the position is being used, of being quote the boss.
Well, I wonder if it's like maybe just somehow written into our DNA.
Absolutely,
like this is what our species does time and time again. Because
dominance and passiveness. There's always look at like a wolf pack and stuff like that. Or, we're primates. You want to look at like mountain gorillas or chimps. Mm-hmm. There are clear leaders in that group. Yeah. There are going to be dominant males. And in their situation, it's probably more so like the strongest or quickest one or whatever, or whichever one's in their prime.
Well, they have their own way to display.
Right. So with us, that used to be a thing, but now it's much more about your brain or who you know or your ability to, whatever.
How much money you make.
Right. I'm sure a lot of it is quote, luck. If you're born into the ruling family, congratulations, you just got a one-way ticket.
Yep.
But I definitely know what you're saying. But that's the problem. Some people do need to be in charge. That does have to exist. But the problem is,
I think it just needs to be on a more local level. I just think it should be a more on the local level, not necessarily. I guess I'm throwing my hands up,
like state kind of thing.
Super shrug here, but yeah, no federal government, and I guess in an ideal, and this probably already exists. I'm probably describing Marxism or some bullshit. I don't know. I haven't done the research.
Well, yeah, I guess.
I get bored. I'm bored of all the isms. Even as a kid, I remember in English class he was talking about Walter Emerson Waldo or whatever.
Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Yeah, and
transcendentalism.
And as soon as I learned about this term and what it was, I realized that all isms are basically bullshit. I was just like, they're just stupid ways of like trying to define something that is way bigger than they even. So it's like, well,
that's also part of the human condition, the need and drive to label things and to categorize them. That is also in our DNA, because there's, again, an evolutionary benefit to being organized. Yeah. There's a clear benefit to being an organized unit. Yeah. But unfortunately, the result of that, again, is we've overcomplicated society into all these, religions and cliques and subgroup, groups, whatever you want to call it. Now you're going to have more conflict. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't think that there's any necessary answer because we're not perfect. Evolution is not perfect. I know I keep going back to that, but it's okay. So it's factor.
Like as Homo sapien, like, okay, yeah, I guess you could grow your nails out, I suppose, and you could maybe go, if you're advanced enough in your tool making, you can sharpen your teeth. But like, okay, but in general, Homo sapiens don't have claws. We don't have natural weapons. We build. We make tools. We make extensions of ourselves. That's our brain. That is our adaptation more so than any other creature.
Sure,
right?
Sure.
So it's not like we're faster or stronger. In fact, we aren't. Which is actually almost like a terrible trade-off. Like, I wish if I could be 10% less intelligent and be like 13 to 15% more physically just like badass, just on the basic.
You just jump.
I would be, I'd be
jump
all over
out of
that.
the second story window to get to your car.
And just totally be fine. Yeah, I would be all over that. But no.
Well, I think what maybe happened is we started to need our bodies less and less. Yeah. So that we got a little.
I know.
Because I'm assuming, I don't know. I'm assuming that cavemen, not even using like the proper term,
right.
I'm assuming they were just right off the bat physically stronger because the genes passing around. They were
they were just older.
Doing everything by hand, everything.
Yeah.
And hunting mammoths and like all kinds of fucked up shit. We don't need that now. Yeah. We're all brain. Well, not all brain. We're pretty fucking stupid, I guess. Well, ultimately,
even the dumb ones would surprise you. They're
I'm just saying.
If you try to like trivia them on like facts, but if you ask them about personal life, they might blow you away. Yeah. So you can't like,
I don't know.
But either way, I agree with what you're saying. I wasn't trying to derail.
No.
Yeah.
So now
So we need our brain, or we need our brain more. We need our body less. That's because we fucking got really good with technology. We got houses.
Now slowly everything's
structure.
First we started making animals do stuff for us, and then we started making machines.
Well, no. First we've got plants to work for us. Then
I guess that's true.
And then we got the Stone Age, I guess, which is the Earth to work for us, because that was like the beginning of finding rocks to do things, I guess, and minerals to make. Well, then that was the Iron Age or the Bronze Age. I don't remember. Either way,
a lot of ages.
We went through a lot of ages, but in general, we got so advanced we didn't have to worry about nature really anymore. We had buildings, we had technology, we had ways of getting around that were either at least horses. No, actually, no, I don't think we were. Were we riding horses?
Maybe we just don't know.
Did we ride horses in like the Bronze Age and shit?
Bronze? I have no idea.
Because that was like way back, right? I'm probably not. I'm not. So either way,
Spartans, were they bronze?
Wow, what, dude? Spartans? That's going way back.
Isn't
that BC? No,
it is. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, they're way before that. I don't know.
So here's my thought though. Off of that, our dogs have less and less to be like worried about. The dog, the species dog, which we created from Canis wolfus, or whatever it is.
Canis lupus.
Thank you, Canis lupus. Now we have Canis familiaris, that is our dog. They have less to worry about as far as nature goes, because, well, not the strays, but the ones that are breeding are generally like indoors and they're fed. So it's like they have more leisure time, and I think that is where I was going with the human part too, is they got more time off.
Right.
They didn't have to worry about all that shit, and so they had more leisure time to devote to making an alphabet and writing and jewelry making and arts,
Right.
all the arts.
More fine-tuned stuff.
Yeah, and that exercised our brains, our neurons. They fired more, and then when people made it after being made, because every time you learn a new thing, every time you do a new action, your brain, makes new physical connections with neurons just to keep that memory. And then every time you want to remember, that little link and chain will just fire real quick, and you'll remember that thing.
Right.
So every time you do that, you're making. So then in your DNA, by the time you're 13 or 14, it is what it is. But then if you live to be 30 and then have a kid, that's even twice as old. Now your brain is twice as probably or 3 times got more neurons, and your DNA is somehow going to reflect that because that is your body now. That is your DNA in that moment when you conceive and get rid of your seed. So, I mean, that's crazy, It's constantly updated copy. It's copy on a copy.
Yeah, it is fascinating.
Yeah.
It's still imperfect, though.
Oh, yeah, no, I know.
And I think it's funny how we're always chasing perfection in a way. We're always saying, this isn't right, we need to fix this. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't try to fix things. There are definitely things that need to be fixed, just
on a medical health scale, sure.
On a global scale.
It's good to have that technology and the know-how to do it.
Absolutely. And I'm not saying we shouldn't advance, but at the same time, we should also be self-aware in
the use
of what we are. I think people forget that we're still animals.
Well, so are you? And here's the thing: some people's ideas of what beauty is just, in my honest opinion, just horrendous. Like, for example, the human Barbies. There's human Ken dolls and human Barbies.
Oh, you mean and they just what society pushes?
Well, and so I guess there's maybe some societal aspect to that. Sure, yeah, but I mean, in general, it's just to me, it just seems like it's a psychological disorder of someone being just unaware of. I don't know what. And I don't mean it to be in a negative way. I suppose, again, as a sovereign human being, they can do whatever the fuck they want, and I am totally fine with that. But it's just I would like to understand why someone would go that far, spend that much money, go through that much surgery, which is, in my opinion, no small walk in the park. Surgery is you get cut, you're under anesthesia most likely, or at least localized, and you're just you're doing harm to your body, and then changing it, and then hoping it heals fine. And it just
you're talking about what type of surgery are you talking about?
Okay, so I will show you exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh,
these
are new, right?
Well, no, I mean these people have been around for a while, and I wish there was a bigger. Yeah, I mean that's.
Wait, so okay, so
that's real.
So that's a real person.
That is her. That's her after,
What happened to her face?
No, that's surgery.
Ugh,
and that's even
really creepy.
So look, wait. Okay, so there's that.
What the fuck? That is so. For some reason, that's really disturbing in a way.
Yeah, no, I know. So let's see.
The way, how lifeless it looks.
Yeah, that's
how
the
lifeless
thing.
her face looks now.
That's the thing, man. I just can't. It's so. It just goes, they go through surgery and look like this. I just get to the point where you don't look like a human being.
Right. No, for sure.
I
can't. Agree.
I don't even I can't make eye contact with you because whatever you're presenting as eyes to me don't register as eyes. They're that off. And
yeah. It is very lifeless.
Yeah.
That's fucking weird. Yeah, I don't understand that. I think some people get fucked up in the head because of society's, or at least American society, what is considered beautiful and what isn't. I mean, there is an obvious, and I think a lot of it's based off of whoever's famous. You know what I mean? And a lot famous people kind of have that power. You know what I mean? If they're glorified enough, then people start to consider that to be whatever.
What means something? Yeah.
Well, or considered to be, they're the beautiful, or whatever. But that Barbie thing, I don't understand that at all. Who finds that attractive? I mean, I'm assuming somebody.
I guess. Yeah,
I'm assuming somebody out there finds it attractive, but
yeah, I don't know.
That's really strange.
Yeah. Let's see if I can find the guy.
Male Barbie.
Human Kendall.
Wait, he didn't look as weird to me. the girls did. You know, maybe I don't know. That looks.
This is the actual. That's what he ended up looking like.
Whoa!
So
why? Why? He looks like he's about. He looks like he's possessed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do not understand it at all.
It's very strange.
Yeah.
But then again, I think we're the strangest of all. I mean, again, we're overcomplicated.
Look at him. It's like he's wearing the mask. Well, even that, like that was, I guess, like earlier or something.
That's so bizarre.
Is that his?
That one's really creepy. That's fucking creepy. Like, imagine seeing that around.
He doesn't have to do anything for Halloween. He's
right. He's done.
365 Halloween. He wears anything, and he's just like that.
Is that a guy?
Mm-hmm. That's a human being. Yeah, that's a person. That's male. Yeah. It was. Yeah. I mean, at this point, it doesn't matter. God. Every time I click, it's just more fascinating. You're just like, that can't really, like, there's no, I don't know. Yeah.
Like, she could, like, especially the girl. I feel like she could like prop herself up against a wall and like sit on the floor, and if somebody walked in the room, they would think that she was like a giant toy.
Yeah, a giant Barbie. Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Tis.
I remember there were the house I grew up in. There were Barbie dolls like around, but like nobody ever bought them for me. I guess they must have come from my mom. She was only 16. But I remember I just like ripped the heads off of them. I didn't talk with them or anything.
I don't care about you.